Welcome to the Secret Recipe Podcast. I'm your host, Mz.Skittlez. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Secret Recipe. I hope you guys are learning so much because I am. I'm literally learning the secret recipe to how people become successful, the mindset of so many people, and like, I have my girl Chelsea here, and we gonna get deep. We are gonna talk about so many things, but like, yeah, girl. Like, I feel like our couch is almost like therapy, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so Chelsea, you have made millions of dollars. You are a mom. You are a mogul. How did you get here? What is your story?
Lots of hard work and dedication. I feel like I've always known that I wanted to be successful, like from a little girl. I always knew that like what was separating me from my dream life was finances. So I've just been on this like get money mission my whole life.
So you didn't start off in drop shipping, like,
Entrepreneurship?
yeah.
I dipped and dabbled in different, industries, a little MLM here,
Okay.
a little I tried different things. I was a celebrity makeup artist, so I feel like that was my true first experience of being on my own as a freelancer.
Wow.
And having to get my own clients, market myself, and
How long were you doing that?
I was a makeup artist for 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I started in Atlanta.
What?
It was awesome.
I don't think nobody knows that. So who
I
are
know,
some
right?
of your
These days,
clients?
right? Oh my gosh, I've done a lot of people. I did makeup for basketball wives mainly.
Yeah.
So I did them for mad seasons. Like Jennifer Williams was my main client. I've done Kenya Moore. I've done a lot of people on reality TV. That was my jam.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a good time.
Do you feel like most makeup artists have a hard time keeping up with their income? And it's always like client to client, day to day?
I do. I think it's like that. And I think it's like, it's hard because, there's always that new up and coming makeup artist that's willing to do makeup for free and willing to do the most, do everything for nothing. And so you have to really be on your game as a makeup artist. You have to really set yourself apart and be unique and have that rapport with your clients so that you can really grow and have longevity with them. And it's hard, especially it's cool, I think, when you're younger, before you're family oriented, before you're really trying to create that. And then once you are, it's like, ooh, how am I going to actually balance the two? That's how it was for me. Makeup was great until I wanted more for myself as a woman. I wanted kids. I wanted a family. And I'm just like, how can I chase this bag like this if my focus is now creating a family?
Yeah.
So that's what made me have to pivot from that.
So considering you did that for a very long time, for the makeup artists that may be watching and they're like, I'm doing celebrities, or I finally got my first celebrity, or I'm finally just posting, right? And they're getting their first clients. What are some tips that you would give them to really elevate out of doing makeup or be able to become a very successful makeup artist in a very lucrative industry and survive through it?
I think that if you can find a way to diversify whatever it is that you're already good at and whatever it is that you're already doing, then you're setting yourself up for success. I think it's the people that are just so like one-laned or like one-dimensional that they think that, they have this amazing skill as a makeup artist, but that they put themselves in a box that they just have to be serving and servicing others in order to make their money. And it's like, no, you can start an e-commerce brand selling makeup, selling brush belts or brushes. You could give classes and teach people how to do makeup. You can travel, do tours, and, it doesn't have to be, you get a call, you show up and serve and then go home.
Yep.
You can literally create a empire around your skills and your passion without it just being like so one-dimensional.
I think also where makeup artists are thriving now are they're partnering with brands and they're doing brand deals, brand collaborations. I was watching a makeup artist on TikTok a couple of days ago and she made like a 7-figure brand deal just off of like influencing, like them loving her work. She had a certain style of work. So I think that with the right mindset, you can go from just being, in front of or behind the chair to actually having a really lucrative makeup business.
I think so too. And I wish more makeup artists, more hairstylists, more freelancers, more people in the service industry, period. Lashes.
Yes.
There's so many nail techs and we just, it's you got to kind of like really, they have to be exposed to what else is out there. And then I think once they are, they're just like, oh my gosh, I've been playing real small, you know? And then once it kind of clicks, you're just like, oh my God, the sky's the limit. I can have t-shirts that go with my brand. And you realize like a couple small additions to your current business model can just generate you an extra few $100,000 a year. And then you're like, wow, okay, game over. What else can I do?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was with me. I just never really, I loved makeup, but what I loved about makeup was the service part of it. Like I loved making people feel beautiful. I wasn't interested in my own makeup line. I wasn't interested in my own brush line. People were convincing me. I had a lot of opportunities working with celebrities like, girl, you want to do this? You want to, and I'm just like, that's just not where I'm at with it. I do this out of the love for the artistry. Yeah. And that's it. You know, I wasn't really trying to blow up that part of me as a full brand, you know? Yeah.
So you made that pivot. How was it? Like, how was it leaving makeup and then going in on a new route? And you didn't have kids at the time, right?
No.
Okay.
No. Actually, when I did leave makeup, I did have my daughter. I had just had my daughter. So I remember doing makeup pregnant, and I was already drop shipping though. So I had already made like a $250,000 drop shipping, and I just remember being pregnant like 6-7 months and just being like, why, Chelsea, like why are you doing this? But I was so loyal to my clients. They were loyal to me for so long that it was just like the least I could do. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm going to finish out my seasons and I'm going to make my transition. But for me, just being like someone in survival mode my whole life, I just didn't want to leave something that was so good to me for so long and just jump into something brand new. That was like very scary. So
how did you get introduced to drop shipping?
I got introduced to drop shipping through the grace of God, honestly, because I'm not one to be in no library. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I found out about it in the library.
What?
Yes. Like, I really felt like it fell into my lap. I was in a place in my life where my back was like up against the wall. And I was doing makeup, you know, I was making money, but I found myself with my children, my current, you know, my children now, their father, he had just come home from prison. And so we were here starting a brand new relationship together, and our options are just very limited, you know, and he didn't come home to money. He had just came home, fresh home. So it's like, here we are trying to establish ourselves. And I just realized like, we need more, like we need a lot more, and our options are now limited. So we have to get resourceful. We have to do things that we've never done before. And that led us on this like wild goose chase of like entrepreneurship and opportunities. And one day at the library, feeling super defeated. Like I was so defeated. I was to the point where we're at the library and we're not in college anymore. We're just there. Like, you know, he was at the halfway house and I would go pick him up and take him to go job hunting. And after a few days of that, we realized, like, what are we really hunting for? Like, what job is going to satisfy us realistically and our lifestyle? Like, we're applying at Pep Boys, we're applying at Sam's Club, like these jobs, 10, 15 an hour, like what life are we going to have with that, you know? And so because we were already committed to being together and to getting our life on track, we were just like, we were forced into entrepreneurship, you know, because we just refused to settle with like a minimum wage job that was just impossible living in LA. So we were at the library one day and I'm just skimming through pamphlets and books of different things, and I came across one that was like 1,000 ways to make money from home. And I was like, this is so beneath me. Like, I'm college educated. I'm like, why am I even, you know, dog walking, closet organization? I'm like, there's got to be more for me, you know? Yeah. And I got to that last page and it had drop shipping, and I just, something about the word was intriguing. And when I read about it, I'm like, you don't need an inventory, you don't need a warehouse, you don't need experience, all these, you don't need things. And I'm like, check, I ain't got that. I got that only, like internet connection, a computer, got it. Everything else came with too many things. And at the time, our budgets were just not allowing for it. And so that was like, the gates of heaven felt like it opened up and was like, Chelsea, you better take this and run. And I literally did. Like, nobody saw me after that. I was locked in. Wow. Like, I felt like my future depended on it. I felt like my man's well-being. And, you know, when you're fresh home, it's like you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, you can go back that fast. So I was just like on a mission to prove to him that like I could find a way to go legit and it actually sustain us and give us the lifestyle that we were in search of. You know? So
how long did it take to get to that moment where you felt like you were able to live the lifestyle that you wanted to live via drop shipping?
I would say like 2 years. We made our first 100,000 in 6 months of okay, so the first 6 months, it was all me on my own. You know, I had the mindset like I've done I do everything on my own. So I'm like, I got this. I'm gonna start studying books, YouTube, all that. And for 6 months, I was completely locked in. I lost weight. It was like, girl, I was entering college all over again, like freshman fit. Like I was so dedicated. My family was like, "Is everything okay with you? You know, you came home to having this random boyfriend who just came home from prison. Now we're not even hearing from you. Like, are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm on a mission. Like, I am okay. I'm great, but I need y'all to fall back and trust that, like, I'm gonna be okay. But I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I do know the lane I'm headed on, and I know what my goals are. And so I fell back from like the world for 6 months, and I was super focused and dedicated. And you know, I hit a brick wall with, you know, trying to figure out things on your own. You're just spending. You're wasting time. Your wheels are turning, and you're really going nowhere. You're not seeing results.
Yes.
And so
Been
I got
there.
this close to just being like, this is a scam. Like, this is not real. Like, did I really just fall for the okie doke that everybody talks about? But something in me just like knew, like, no, like, this is real. You've seen enough success stories. You've watched enough YouTube videos. Like, this is real, and it can be real for you. Just stick with it. And so I just kept going at my man, and I'm like, I need another 500 for this, or, you know, we were both just contributing, doing odd jobs, and I was doing makeup, he was doing Uber, and post all the things to just come home and give me the money for ads and give me the money for more of this and that. And then it just got to a point where it was like I lost $1,700 in like a day. Girl, I know, just thinking about it just still makes me want to throw up, because I just can't. I remember vividly just seeing that charge come up and being like, oh my God, like, my rent is due in 2 weeks, and like, Brandon's going to kill me for making this horrible accident. I let my ads run. I was learning, so I didn't know to shut them and all that. So I had to come to him, and I was just like, I'm so sorry, like, $1,700, I don't know what we're gonna do. And he just looked at me and was like, it's time for a mentor. Like, we need a mentor. And I was like, what is that? Like, I'd never heard of that. And he's like, in prison, a lot of the, you know, real wealthy guys I was locked up with were Jewish, and they were always talking about they had mentors. And I was like, that's not real. Like, what is a mentor? It's like a wizard. Like, that's not, who am I going to call up and, can you help me with this? And he's like, no, we'll find one. Like, we can't just keep doing this. And so that sent me on, you know, this search for someone who could help me. And at that point, he was charging, the guy I did find was charging what felt astronomical at the time, $4,000 a month. Again, someone who's never used help or asked for help. I said, for what?
My first mentor was $4,000 a month.
Oh, that's a sweet
that's
spot.
Insane.
Yes, girl. I was like, I don't have that. I've never had that, and I don't know where I would get it. And, but I need your help. You know, he was 19 years old. He was making $240,000 a month, and he was living in Bali, in Thailand, and doing the whole laptop lifestyle. And here I am at like 28, and I'm like,
I can barely scrape up $4,000.
Where did I go wrong? You know, like, yeah, it was horrible. And so that took a mindset journey for me, because again, I'd never paid anyone. So I was like, yeah, no, it's a no for me. I'll figure it out. That sent me on another couple months of just losing.
Yes.
And then I said, okay, we just got to make something shake here. So we did a little payment plan with him. And within the first month, I felt so stupid, because it's like, damn, I could have had results so much quicker. But within the first month, we made $21,000 after months of like a sale here, there, you know, little 10.
See, I think this is a good point, because mentors will collapse decades in a days. And you will, like, for my business, like, even last year, I'm like, oh my God, we're scaling. We got to this point. Oh my God, double-digit millions, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, everything is working out until it's not working out. And then you have to be like, okay, what do I do here?
Yeah.
And it's when you take your biggest loss is when you want to hire anybody. Like, I'm like, all the money that I had and could have hired somebody to teach me how to do this. It's when you take that biggest loss and you're like, it's either this person is going to help me or I'm going to be out of business.
Yes. Exactly. I feel like that's how we are kind of as people, you know, like, we wait for shit to hit the fan before we want to do something about it. It's like, everybody knows therapy is so positive and we all need it, low key. But people wait till their lives are falling apart and they're like, I'm going to call a therapist. It's
That's
like,
me.
Baby, why didn't you do this years ago, you know? And
that is so
true.
me. It was like last year in December, I just felt like I kind of hit this glass ceiling of like how much success I can reach, how much, you know, people I can help. Like, I just felt like, okay, I'm here and I've done these amazing things, and what's next for me? And I'm like, maybe I need a therapist.
Right.
So I feel like the way that we are conditioned to think about, you know, being an entrepreneur or just living is like, we have to wait till trauma like really truly appears for us to do something about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I feel like our people are like that, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
But why do you think that?
Because of the way we've been conditioned. Period. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's ego. I think it's ego. I think it's a lot of worrying and wondering about what other people are thinking about us when we show signs of weakness or vulnerability.
Yes.
I think that nobody wants to be seen or perceived as starting at the bottom or needing someone else's help because, like, you know, we're big man. Like, why would I need to hire her to show me how to run my brand? Like,
yes.
Who is she? Who is he? And so that's ego. And that's the stuff that keeps us stuck and not excelling and not experiencing things and not exploring because we're too worried about what failure might be or look like or what people might say if we don't take off fast enough or if it doesn't look a certain way, if we don't make enough our first month or year. It's just like, you got to stay focused with what your mission is. It's like if you're trying to build generational wealth for your families, like you got to really have tunnel vision. And that's just what I've learned. Like you're going to lose friends, you might lose family, like, but those people just weren't meant to be with you on this journey.
You know, one thing, I was at a conference and Tyler Perry was speaking and I felt like he was literally speaking to me. You know, when you've been at church and you feel like, hold on, the pastor know my notes. Right. But I felt like Tyler Perry was literally speaking to me and he said, as you go up, it's like a rocket ship. Like when you enter into different layers of success, a group of people are going to fall off. And you're never going to understand. Like these could be the tightest people. These could be the people that you're like, when we get to the top, we're going to be partying. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. And they're going to fall off. And then when you go up another level, you're going to spin and spiral. And you're going to feel like, what's going on? Why am I here? What's happening? Everything was just perfect yesterday. And then a bunch of people are going to fall off. And by the time you get to the top, it's a little tiny rocket ship of people. And you have new people that are there helping you and supporting you. It's like most of the people can't go where you want to go, your end goal, because they don't even see it for themselves. So no matter how much you promote and you push and you tell people, you're great, you're amazing, I believe in you. When we get this million, they can't even imagine having $1 million. Like they can't even imagine getting out of what they currently are going through.
You're right. You're right.
It's the hardest thing.
And if honestly, because, you know, when you talk to your friends about it, they're like, oh, girl, you know, don't worry. They weren't meant to be with you. But Tyler Perry said it, you know, at the level he's at. Yes. I honestly probably would have made this shift much easier because when you're going through these things and you don't really talk to many people, you feel like you're the only one going through it. And you feel like you're wrong for feeling this way or that way. You think something's wrong with you, that everybody's falling off. You're like, oh my God, maybe I'm just growing and becoming a monster. Or maybe I'm just like, am I hard to work for? Or am I mean? Or am I? And it's just like, no, I'm not.
I am so glad you said that. And I hope that every entrepreneur that is watching this podcast is literally listening to this, rewinding this, because you are not alone. And I honestly felt that way last year. I'm like, I mean, I don't know a lot of people that have made the success that I've made, you know, starting from nothing. Now, I know a lot of people that have made a lot of money, but they've had a lot of backing, they've had a lot of funding, they've had a lot of investors.
Yeah, no, you've done
but just grassroots,
yeah.
I don't know a lot of people. So sometimes I believe in people that I probably shouldn't believe in. I believe in people that probably are unqualified.
And that's what stops me from seeking advice and help and therapy sometimes, because it's like, you're giving me advice, but you don't, girl, it'd be too much.
Yes.
It's like down to, you know, relationships and therapy for that. You know, it's like you talk to these people who don't make half of what you make. And it's not about, you know, it's not to be a jerk or anything. It's just like money gives you access to different things. It gives you just totally different level of access. And you know, you're talking to people who maybe their fiancés or their husbands take them on a vacation once a year, and that's goals, and that's totally okay, and that means he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Like, boy, you take me on a vacation once a year. We not even that's impossible.
Yeah.
So
and I think that that's important to understand, that the relationship that you want, the relationship that is built for you, is different than the relationship that is built for her.
Yeah.
And I hate, actually, it like makes me cringe inside of my soul when people say that me and my husband is relationship goals, because we are our own goals. Yeah. Like we don't need to be anybody else's relationship goals. Like we continuously for over 10 years water our own grass, and it has not been easy. And there are days when I do not want to pick that bucket up and water it, okay? And there are days when he's like, oh my God, I told you to not do, you know? And so like when people think of like relationship goals, they don't understand. Like if I gave you my man today, he would not satisfy you the way that he satisfies me because the things that you want in your relationship are different. Like the things that you absolutely want. Like he's perfect for me because he understands exactly what I want. I understand exactly what he needs, and we provide that for each other. But I'm also on my second marriage. So what I learned from my first marriage, I didn't bring into my second marriage. So having that like failure, which honestly I wasn't interested in getting married.
Yeah, you learn so much. Yeah. Now look at how amazing your relationship is. And that's why, you know, I think being successful, part of it is that mindset of just knowing that like it wasn't a fail. It wasn't a failure. Like if it didn't work out, you definitely learned and you take that experience into the next challenge, the next journey, and you're so much ahead of the game because of all that failure, you know? Yeah. So I think
definitely a lesson in every blessing. Like there's a blessing in every lesson. There's a lesson in every blessing. Like,
true, it's fact.
Yeah.
People are so afraid of the growing. I just think it's just growth, you know? People are so intimidated about growing and not having all of the answers, and that's just life. You know, you got to learn to embrace it and just bend and pivot.
Yes. So mom life, you have beautiful.
They're my everything.
Beautiful babies. You have two beautiful babies.
Thank you.
How do you handle that? How do you handle balance? How do you handle feeling like enough when it comes to motherhood?
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's hard. Those are my babies. Like, I adore my children, man. I really feel like I was put on this earth to have these kids and just protect them and love them. But how I do it, honestly, we don't have family out here. It's very, very, very hard. Not having support the way, you know, it does take a village. Yeah. It really does. So I think now I'm just kind of trying to commit to creating what that village looks like and accepting the help that I already struggle so much with acknowledging that I need. Yeah. And I think motherhood was one of the first things, besides the first mentor I had, but motherhood kind of forced me to accept, like, listen, yes, you could do it all alone, but then your business will fail. Yep. Then this will fail, that will fail. So it's just like I had to lean on other people. I had to be vulnerable and just be like, listen, I do need a nanny. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, you know. But when you come from a family, a nanny.
I definitely went through that.
What do you need a nanny for? What? You're a mom. You'll get the ropes. It's like, are you running a $1 million company? Do you have staff members? Do you have thousands of students? Don't stay in your lane. I'm gonna stay in my lane. Okay. Yeah. And so, you know, life has been beautiful because I've learned to accept help and I've learned to embrace not doing things by myself, you know. So I value my team, like, you know, like you said, man, I feel that, like, it's okay to need help. It's okay to leverage different things to free up a little bit of time for yourself. And so, you know, I'm not one that really does much of self-care and things like that. I've had to, like, learn through entrepreneurship that, like, okay, girl, like, there's certain things you need to do to take care of you so that you can take care of everybody else, you know. But even that, I didn't grow up seeing a mom do any of that. My mom was a single mom, and self-care was not a factor. It was not a thing.
I don't think our parents knew self-care.
Yeah, that wasn't
at
a term
all
back then.
Like, I don't even think that was like.
You're lucky if you get your little tips done.
That was unheard of. I've never seen my mom get her nails done.
Yeah, me either. I just said that. My mom never got her nails done. She still don't. Like, yeah, it's just, you know. But motherhood is definitely what was my driving force and my driving factor through not giving up on entrepreneurship, not giving up on myself, and just constantly reaching new goals and being okay with that. Because the people in your life will make you feel weird for not stopping. Yeah. And they make you feel guilty and try to, like, mom, like, when are you going to stop, Chelsea? When are you going to start? Yeah. Let's talk about that. Like, why are you trying to slow me down? I'm just getting started and my kids are going to be okay. And I'm going to have a whole lot to leave behind for them.
Has there ever been that moment where you felt like, am I choosing the business? Am I doing too much business and not enough mom?
There's been a couple little moments like that, but no, not really, because from day one, I run a home-based business. Oh, yeah. I am with my kids. I didn't put them in daycare. I didn't put them in school. Right now, a month ago, I did that, and that's just because life events kind of got crazy and forced me to put them in school before I was really ready to.
I am pro-school.
Oh, okay? I'm pro-school now, but it was just in that first, you know, they're not talking yet. They're not potty trained yet. You make all these excuses.
Yeah.
No, they're not ready yet. You hear all the horror stories. So I kept trying to wait until both of them were speaking, and and I did it, and it was the best thing. I didn't even know. I'm like, oh, moms are sneaky. School is self-care. Hold on, we make it about the education. No, they're not learning nothing. They're 2 and 4. Like that 8 to 5.
Yes.
That is self-care.
Yeah,
so I'm
seriously.
like, damn, I should have been put these little monsters in school. Like, what was I thinking? I literally just had been attached at the hip with them, and I thought I was doing it for them. I was really doing it for me.
Yeah,
like
that
I
was
needed
me.
my babies with me. That was like my security blanket. Me working and hearing them in the back fighting, like downstairs with the nanny. I just felt so like my babies are good. Like, But
I think a lot of things. I love to talk about like mom guilt and just motherhood period. But one thing for me is I want to give my daughter the life that I dreamed of when I was 6. Like I remember being 6 years old, and I think 6, maybe 7, but I remember being super young, and I was like, I'm going to do this, I want to do this, and I want to see this because I'm watching all these shows. And like, I was always a big dreamer as a kid, and which is also why I'm like very particular on how I pour into my daughter, because I felt like I had a lot of gifts early on. Like I was making Barbie clothes and selling them at my school in 1st grade. Like I was literally cutting up socks, making dresses. I got pictures and everything showing.
I know who we
and I felt like my mom never seen the gift. It was like, oh yeah, my daughter does this thing. Like, oh yeah, she's selling sock clothes for the Barbies. Like it wasn't a thing for her to be proud of, or she didn't see the gift. Like I could have been the next whatever,
100%, for sure.
So I think now it is important that we break the stigma of how our parents raised us versus how now we have to raise our children.
100%.
A lot of people are like, oh, our parents were at home and our parents were this. Like for me, my mom was present. I don't really remember a lot of jobs that my mom had, but my mom wasn't present. We never talked. I was always being yelled at. Like the conversations, I can't remember my mom sitting with me and saying, I encourage you, or I'm inspired by, or oh my God, I want to push you out there to do this. So I'm very careful about how I talk to my daughter and make sure that my words are encouraging her.
Not condescending or
discipline. Because
so
I dealt with a lot of insecurities on how I looked or how I sound, or because, my mom put me in pageants and she was like, do you see Susie over there with the beautiful teeth and the, blonde hair? Like, you need to stand like her. And so it caught, like, even though she was encouraging me or telling me how to win, it didn't make me feel good in the inside. And it's something that I dealt with that all of my life, It
sticks with you forever. It really does. You just got to learn how to, like, overlook it and know that they were doing their best.
Yeah.
But for sure, it does stick with you in the back of your mind. Like, you'll never forget those things. You can't.
Yes.
It's like, that's your mom, And my mom did my same thing. My mom used to comment under my pictures on Instagram, like, you standing like you got to pee. Like, why are you standing like that? And I'm like, Mom, now I'm going to, every time I stand, like, just, can you not do that?
Yeah.
And I know you're my mom. I know she's nobody's going to tell you. Your mom has to tell you. And I'm like,
but not
I could have went without knowing that, okay? Like, I didn't need that advice. It's okay, and it really does stick with you. And I everything you said is same with Summer, my daughter. I do my very best to always I over uplift her.
Yeah.
Like, we do the most. So much her confidence is like higher than mine. I'm like, girl,
for
you're 4 years
sure,
old. Calm down, baby, calm down. But like that, we need that. Our little babies, it's like this world is so freaking cruel.
Yes. This episode and conversation is powered by Girl Mob, a digital community for female entrepreneurs everywhere.
Confidence can get you so far. You already know, just being a confident woman and just knowing who you are. And so that's something I see in both my kids. My daughter's 4, so I see it more in her. And I love it. Like, I will never try to dim her light, ever. I'm never gonna, I'm gonna try. Criticism, of course there's going to be things I need to correct, but I have to be so careful not to give those underhanded, like, because it's going to stick with her, and I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. So
same. I think that our parents could only parent from the place that they were parented. And sometimes that can help you succeed or help you fail, like sometimes people look at, us in our generation now, and they're like, oh, she's a failure, she's a big success, but you have no idea what I dealt with, or you have no idea.
Yes. What I've overcome on the personal. Maybe on Instagram, you guys are judging my money or this or that, but I've overcome abuse, trauma, childhood, this and that. I'm a winner, despite what it may look like. Like I could have been not even here 2 years ago, and I pushed through all of that. I'm a winner. You know, you just gotta know that. Like people will hurt so they're just so negative. I think social media has given people a voice who sometimes don't even deserve to have a voice, and they use it in a negative light. They use it to bring others down, and it's like we have no idea what the next person is going through or how much they've had to fight just to wake up and go on Instagram today. So it's like you got to really be kind, and you have to keep those things in mind, I think.
Absolutely. So what is some things that you've learned over the last year, like that you had to overcome, you had to push through, you had to get up and still work on the days when you're like, really? This is my life?
Yeah. I think it just really, I think 2022, and it's so crazy because it was such an amazing year, and things did not spiral out of control until like the last quarter. And you already know in e-commerce, like we look forward to quarter 4 big. And so all of my attention was focused on revenue and sales goals and scaling. Quarter 4 brought me to my knees, 2022.
Wow.
It was brutal. It was a rough year. Like the people that were the closest to me, like you said, everything that you just said is exactly when it hit me that my day ones, those day ones that you just like envision everything happening with, that was rough.
Chelsea, been there. Don't make me cry. 10 times over. 10 times over. Like,
yeah, them day ones, you know, like you see, you start the journey with people, and it's like, you know, you can't imagine your life not including them, especially at the new level where you work so hard to get to, you know, and it's friends, it's family, especially like me. I try to bring everybody into my business. I love people so much, and
we want to see them win.
We want to see them win, yes. And so you just know what it takes, and when people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can get frustrated, you know, and it's just like, you know, that what they're doing is not going to be helpful to the path that they're saying that they're on, you know, or they want to be on, or you kind of see what's best for people. And when you become successful and you have to like push through so many obstacles and barriers and things, like you can quickly pick up on like poisonous behavior and toxic habits and toxic mindsets and things like that. And like you were saying, like sometimes people just aren't equipped, or they don't have the capacity to really accept certain advice from certain people. It's like, hold on, girl, we was just in the mud a few years ago together. Now you're giving me mindset advice type, you know what I mean? It's like, who are you? They just look at you. Money changed. That kills me. It's like, don't tell me money. Don't tell me I changed. I mean, I did change. We all have, but like people will try to make you feel bad for changing just because they didn't change with, you know, at the level that you did. And it's like, so much of like, I think I dealt with a lot of like psychological warfare between my friends, my family members, people I have always leaned on and trusted for their advice, thinking that they had my best interest at mind or at heart. And then just seeing how they moved and just knowing that I wouldn't have moved that way at all, you know, and just realizing that I have to kind of sever this here, or it's going to take everything. I've been working so hard with it, and it's just hard, but it's growing pains, you know, it's what needs to be done. And the people that are supposed to be there, sometimes they circle back and, you know, have their epiphany moment, you know, but.
Do you let them back?
In my life, maybe. In my business, I have to protect my business, you know. I've had some people who like have worked for me and then left for their own personal reasons. Usually it's because they see what we do and think they can do it the way we do it, with the ease that we do it. And so you'll get someone who you just fall in love with and pour so much into. You think they're going to be your dog, your road dog forever, and then they leave you because you've inspired them to, which is great, you know. But I've had a couple of those come back, like, and it was probably not in my best interest to take them back because it's like, you already dipped on. It's like, you know, and that's when I have to focus on me and like the therapy and like the, you know, why did I feel like I needed someone who already abandoned me once, you know, like they showed me, and I still just want it so bad that I'm willing to let you hurt me, leave me abandoned during a launch or whatever, but I'll still take you back because
and then you'll do it again.
I love you enough or whatever, and you'll do it again. So that, you know, when I ended the year, I was just like, you know, people ask me like if they come back to, and I'm like, no, as a friend for sure, you know, like I'll no love lost, but like in my business, I have to protect all of us. And like we can't afford people who are wishy-washy about the vision that we're the mission that we're on. You know, I need people in it for the long haul, and that won't always happen. You know, people come and go, but like, you know, just gotta be more aware. And I've learned a lot of lessons with hiring and team and just.
I think that is the biggest. I think that is the biggest downfall of small businesses is teams. Mm-hmm. Period. Like I think so too. I don't think it's money. I don't think it's like hustle or growth or scalability or any of those things. I solely think it's team building.
I think it's team
if you
building,
do not have the ability to understand the layers of building a team, then I don't think you'll ever. Your cap will always be based upon the people around you.
Oh, 100%. Yes, 100%. Boy, I've learned so. Yes, and it's like, you know, those phases of just understanding business and like, you know, you start making some money, like you were saying, you just want to bring everybody in, and it's like that's a huge lesson too. Like scaling or hiring too fast. Yes. It's like you got some money, yeah, but like, and yeah, you could afford to hire them right now, but like one thing about me is I luckily didn't make that mistake because I saw so many other people doing it. I'm like, dang, she went from a 1-person team to 10 people. Damn, how is that gonna? And watching, and then you see a few months later, it's like, oh, we're rebranding, we're falling back, we'll be back coming soon. I'm like, yeah, everybody fight, everybody fight. And it's just like one thing about me, I'm not playing with nobody's money, nobody's time. Like I'm not hiring, I'm not bringing nobody into my space if I know in my heart that I can't pay you for at least a year. Like I just can't play with people like that. No. So for me, I slow roll it. Like I'm gonna exert myself more than I have to until I know that I can literally offer that person what they deserve for a period of time that they, you know what I mean? And
well, that's so amazing because most people like me are not like that. I'm like, oh my God, we just got 10 clients. Hire everybody. Who does social media? Who does marketing?
I see you, girl. I be like, oh.
Like, because, you know, for me, well, in the agency space, you could literally have, you know, a client that is like a startup and then Coca-Cola call tomorrow. And it's like the capacity that I have for the startup can't fulfill the capacity for Coca-Cola. So it's like, oh wait, do I fumble what I've been praying for, or do I build?
Rise to the occasion.
Yeah, do I rise to the occasion and get people on this arc with me? You
know,
100%.
I would move the same way. Exactly. If opportunity comes, we going, and I'm gonna find somebody to come with me if I need to.
Yeah,
but you know,
it's definitely
if Coca-Cola ain't calling you,
for sure, it's definitely a hire slow, fire fast model. You know, and I think that the issue with small businesses that we face is we get so close. I know your problems. I know your kids. You've sat on my couch. You were at my cookout. I gave you the foundation to, you know, I gave you the money to get your home. I bought your car. I did this. It's that relationship that is merged between business and then and friendships and bonds. But it's like, my favorite quote. My favorite quote in business that I literally like say all the time. I live by this is if money is involved, the relationship can dissolve. Like if the relationship is built on money, then it can dissolve. Like a lot of times I'm like, I work with my best friend and we're gonna da-da-da-da. It's like, were y'all best friends $0 in? Both of y'all penny to penny? If you paid her to come into a project, if money is involved, the relationship will dissolve. And I had to start understanding that because when I hire my friends or when I hire people that I become friends with, I have to understand that if on my worst day, they're still looking for their check. On the days when I have nothing, when I was running Cupcake Mafia, and like we went through that, me getting fired from my brand, there were moments when I had $0 in my account. I remember falling out with my dad. I was at Magic Trade Show, and like I was literally crying hysterically to my dad that he wouldn't lend me $10,000 to make payroll on Saturday. And I'm like, Dad, you've seen what I've done. I've built a multi-million-dollar business. Like, I've done everything. I've taken out loans. I've done this. I've got my brand back. And you won't lend me $10,000. Like, all I need is $10,000 that I swear to God. Like, and he's like,
I'm good for it.
I'm like, you done seen what I've done. I've never asked you for a dollar. You can't give me, I'm like,
so what'd you do?
At this point, like, no, he did. Like, after I broke down, like, I think he thought, like, man, like, okay, so.
For you to have to ask, you must be in a horrible position. And they're probably like, oh my God.
And ask, like, my dad, my family knows, like, I'm not a depend on my family type of girl. So, like, for me to be, like, crying hysterically and, like, my life is on the line, like, and it be the people that I cried, I prayed, I sacrificed for, and I'm like, here's your check, like, here's your check. Girl. And, like, they're like, this is it? Oh, yeah, let me go do this. It's
I know, I've been there.
Those the moments that will take the small business. Those are the moments that's gonna take the founder out.
Oh yeah,
those moments gonna take the entrepreneur out. That you're like, where is the job? Because I literally said to my coach 2 weeks ago, I'm like, hey, where do I resign from entrepreneurship? Who do I send because some days,
some days will take you out.
Having employees is the hardest thing in the world.
It is. It's so hard. And like, it's just, you never know, man. It's like some of the people who have been the most loyal to me, I just never would have thought it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the ones that you don't expect it really come with some surprises sometimes. That's for sure. The ones that you bend over backwards for, the ones that I had my first lawsuit in 2022. What? Yeah. And it was by a team member who completely finessed and did me dirty, girl, and it was devastating.
Yeah.
Like that.
My heart still, girl. Like when I go through things like that, it's funny because I'm praying to God right now, like sitting currently in the seat, but currently in life, like to put a gate around my heart, because I feel like good people, like we are so good, and we're good again and again and again, and like I'm like, sometimes I see the red flags. I'm like, it's burgundy, it's pink. Oh, is that magenta? Like,
no, it is red.
It is red. Red. It is like bright red flagging right in front of my face. And I'll just be like, no, but they're such a good person. I know they don't have the skill. I know they don't have this. I know that, oh my God, no, but I believe in them. I see where they can go. But can they see it for themselves? And I'm asking him, like, put a gate around my heart, because I've been in situations like what you're currently speaking about, and I'm literally like, I literally be telling my lawyer, let me call her, because we go back so far. Like,
what? Her?
It's no way we could be in this situation. Let me call her. Like, no, she didn't.
There's a misunderstanding here. Well, who dropped the ball? Eric? What happened? Just kidding. But like, for real, it's like, there's no way that this person is doing me like this after everything that we just did. Like, after,
everything
it was
we built together.
And it makes you move different, Like, I came this close to just being like, oh, hell no. Because if this could happen with this person, who knows who else is going to be out for me. And the bigger I get, more people, you realize you're really a target.
Yes.
That was probably the biggest, you just going from nothing and nobody noticing you, nobody knowing your name, nobody nothing, and now all of a sudden, you want to do things for yourself, buy this, buy that, and now my man doesn't even let me leave the house without it's like, babe, I don't need a gun to go to fucking Walmart, like, or to CVS, like, just leave me alone. Like, I'm a mom. Like, no, you're a mom that likes nice things and looks this way and drives this, and I'm just like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
And that part is hard, because it's like, I didn't sign up for all that. I didn't sign up to be nobody's target. I didn't sign up to have to worry about people's intentions. Like, I'm a good person, and you think that you give out and good comes back to you. I hate that saying that's like, you are what you attract. If you keep attracting bad people, it's something with you.
That's totally not true.
I'd be like, listen, I have done the reflection. I've done everything. I might be naive and stupid, but like, don't make it seem like I'm evil, like they're evil, or I'm the manipulative, like that. No, I'm genuinely not. And that's what makes me a target, is that people know that, like, my heart is so pure, and I will give these chances, I will give these opportunities, because it's the same ones that I begged for at one point in my life. So I just see the good in
think
people.
that's the hardest thing, is that we live the way that we wish someone
looked out for us.
Yes.
100%.
For me, like, man, when I tell you, you know, in past years, I've moved people around in my company just because I'm like,
you won't let them go.
I'm like, girl, what I see in you was me at 18.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have it together. I wish somebody would have believed in me. And they still take it for granted. I'm like, okay. So then it's like, who's the fool, you know? And then you're looked at as like, oh, you did this, you did that.
God, girl. The things people will say, girl. You way bigger than me.
My
I already
biggest
know
thing is like, there is their story, my story, and then there's facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm willing to sit on a couch with anybody.
Same. Let's set the record straight.
Anybody.
Seriously.
Because I genuinely know my
you're
heart.
A good person.
Yeah,
period.
And I keep very good records.
Right, and we do good business.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, yeah, exactly. I keep
every receipt.
All of them. Seriously. Seriously.
From 2011, I get the same number from when I was in high school. So come
I'm never
correct.
No, yeah.
Come correct.
Never
I got the
you.
same number. Cheerleaders.
Yeah. Listen, we go way back over here. Okay?
Way back records.
Yeah, you have to, because people will try it.
Yeah.
They really will try it, and they come for your character, and that's the most hurtful thing. And, you know, I hate that. I hate that. And I hate when people play on things that they know other people will agree with just because that's what they see.
Yes.
For example, like when me and my family get into it, mom, whoever, is just like, you know, and you're just all about work. All you care about is work. You're just 24/7 working. And I'm like, just because I pick up my cell phone, you think I'm paying over 6 figures in salaries to be always working?
Yeah.
And then they go pull up my Instagram. You posted 2 minutes ago. Nope, I was at the spa 2 minutes ago, but Sydney might have posted 2 minutes ago. Like, stop using the narrative of day one business owner or year one. I put in all that work. I was neglectful. I was, you know, all of these things in year 1 and 2, so that in year 6 and 7, I could be like this, and it could look like I'm working to y'all, but no, I have teams now. I have things in place, systems and automations, but because people remember me in that super go OD 3 lives a day type mode, they think that it's still like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm a mom. I take care. I made that sacrifice, and I told my family, like, I genuinely am a woman of my word, because it almost cost me my relationship early in the process of starting drop shipping and starting courses and all these things. It was like that neglect factor, you know, that like having to choose between your career and your family time and the balance that you just don't know how to have when you've never done these things before. I had never been a mom before. I had never been a fiance before. I had never been a business owner before. And I did all 3 at the literally same couple months.
Wow.
So it's like, give me a break.
That is overwhelming.
And then everybody had their own expectations.
Yep.
It's like, my business has expectations, and my future is what rides on that. My kids will be okay. I'm a breastfeeding mother of 2. Like, I'm doing enough with just that.
And
let alone working on top of it. Exactly.
My goal is to grind so hard while my daughter's memory is still building. Yeah, like when she's 7, when she's 8, she's gonna remember, Mom, I need you at my pageant. I need you here, and I need to
be there.
I need to be there.
That's how I.
She's 3. She's not gonna remember. She don't even remember. I was like, Mom, you remember we went to Africa? No.
Exactly.
That trip was very expensive.
But
they don't remember. Yeah. So it's important that, and I'm talking to every entrepreneur, like, grind it out while your kids are young.
That's how I
like
feel.
Be super hands-on in your business, super selfish essentially in your business, because those moments you're not gonna want to talk to your 10-year-old about, oh, why you get home every night, you know?
Exactly.
So that's when things change in life. So what's next? What does life look like for you,
girl?
What are you excited about?
I'm just excited about getting to know me on a different level as just more than an entrepreneur. You know, I feel like I've exceeded, I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, I have massive, crazy goals. I'm nowhere close to those yet. But if I died today, I've done more than I ever imagined actually accomplishing. So I feel so grateful, so humbled. Like I'm happy with where I'm at, although I have major goals ahead still. But I think just taking the time finally, now that my business is in a place where it's stable, it's comfortable, I've mastered what I've learned and stuff, to just fall back and be like, okay, take care of you, your heart now. Like, things that I should have done a long time ago, but
we can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that when you're like, it's hard to do that when you're on a mission to escape, you know, what you've always known. So I think this is just the year of like falling back and just getting in tune with myself and my spirituality and you know, just reconnecting with myself as an individual. I've been a fiance for a minute. I've been a mother for 4 years, a business owner, a mentor, all of these things to everybody else. And I've just completely taken a back seat as to who I am. I don't want to be defined by those things anymore. Like, I want to get to know this version of Chelsea. Like, and it's so different from the...
It feels so weird.
So weird.
It feels weird. And the space I'm in, like even sitting in front of this camera, I'm like, this is so weird.
It is,
like having a podcast and talking. Yeah, it's like so weird. So, and I say that because I want people to understand that evolving is weird.
And uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. You
so
think, oh, I'm going to get to that next level. I'm going to get this. No. It requires a different version that you've never experienced.
You literally don't know the person. So once you're there, it's like, oh my God, I have to like learn this. It feels awkward. It's supposed to feel awkward. We ain't never been there before. But it's like, you got to have that confidence and like you're doing it and like nobody would even know that you haven't had a podcast for 10 years. Like that's what people don't know. It's like if you show up all timid and insecure, then yeah, that shows. But if you just show up confident and do your thing, it's like, no, you like Oprah up here. You know what I'm saying? Like you doing it. This is going to be like the next best thing, for real.
Thank you.
Yes. No, but you're doing awesome.
This has been so amazing and just really true healing for me. One, because I think when you get to a certain level, you stop to have those conversations with other people. And this, like, so surreal, just motherhood journey team, like all of it. I'm sure, you know, you guys, if you love this episode, please comment and share because it was healing for me. I hope it was healing for you guys as well. Definitely. What is your secret recipe?
Just being true to who you are, knowing who you are, because people in this world will really try to play with you about your own character, about your own values, about your own belief systems, especially when they're intimidated by you. They will come for you. So I think my biggest like asset, I don't know if that's the right word, but like my biggest whatever is knowing that like you can't sway me.
Yeah.
Like, you can't manipulate me into thinking that I'm this or I'm that. Like I'm so confident with my heart. Like maybe I might not like this or like, you know, certain things about me, but my heart, baby, like you can't, nobody. And that has been like literally the most single-handedly most important thing, I think, you know, because people will really try to break you. So just knowing who you are, being intentional, you know, about the goals that you have and just what it's going to actually take to accomplish those things. You know, that's just been the biggest factor to me, just knowing where you're going. You know, if people don't agree, people don't see it, they're always going to have something to say, but it's your vision for a reason. And if it means being there alone and getting to the top alone, like that's the path that God had for you. The right people are going to come, you know?
Yes.
And I just have to find like comfort in knowing that, you know?
Yes. So where can people find you and see all of this amazingness?
Okay, so Learn with Chelsea is my Instagram. You guys can follow me there. And I mean, we're everywhere, but I'm mainly on Instagram. So Learn with Chelsea.
And then you have a website?
I do. It's my first and last name.com. So ChelseaGuarriello.com.
Yes. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this. It's truly been healing for me. I can't wait to see you on the next episode of The Secret Recipe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Yes. Until next time, guys.
Bye.